has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record.
Oh, no.
In the air to right. This is deep, and he did it again! Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates! 3 home runs in a game!
All of our Pittsburgh Sportsline fans and friends, welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BP TV studios. I got the young intern and volunteer Michael here, Mariano, the son of Johnny Mariano. We got the father-son team back. Poor Mike's been sick for a while. And we got Big Mike here, Rhodey's here, and Marco's not, so he's on camera. And we're right here in the municipal building, right in Bethel Park, 5100 West Library Avenue. Police station to the right, library above, mayor's office up above. And we're ready to talk sports with you. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Smoking Jim Frazier. Jim Guns Ellenbogen filling in for Chip Hayner, who checked in. He's healing up. He's doing physical therapy for another week at home. He'll be back for all you praying for him next Tuesday. He got a cane, but he's walking around doing all his exercises, and they're passing him each week. So he's going to be approved to drive his car and then come here.
Does the snowblower work? I got some leaves in my yard.
For all of you that don't watch the show, the disclaimer is whatever Smoking Jim says is usually not true, and his opinions are fully, honestly his own. So that's the first disclaimer. Please ignore him right now. Nick VIP Callis is here, and I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. I got a special announcement. I'm going to go with Mike here. Look what I brought in. Jim Guns Ellenbogen has a birthday, December 23rd. I forget how old he is because I'm old. And I can't tell you.
I was there when Jesus cried.
Okay. Well, he's a couple years older than me. So I got this cookie cake. I always honor everybody on the show. And here's my trusty knife.
Wow.
I'm ready. I did this when I was 18 years old with my cake my mother bought, so I'm ready to dig in. My hair was a little longer.
But you look good, though.
Well, thank you. And we wish you a happy birthday. We're not singers, unless Nick wants to lead us in that.
Happy birthday to you.
Go ahead.
That's enough
That's
of
all
that.
right. I've heard some of you guys sing.
Fastest rising star, Nicky.
Not for that, though. Not for that.
All right, we'll try to get some pieces out here. All right, we got sports for you. I got some promos coming up. You got to bear with me.
That's too much chocolate for me.
Okay, give that the Guns.
You do look like somebody who has a little too much chocolate already, don't you? Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Disclaimer.
Give me that one.
Hold it. If you want the green, see Levine.
Yeah.
True that.
I want the green.
All right, we got Nick here. He got a little bit maroon. You know what they say about maroons. And I got this last chunk. I got chocolate. I know more about chocolate than most chocolate people.
Yes, he do. Yes, he do.
Disclaimer.
Is that meant what?
No disclaimer.
That
It's
mean
the
what I think it
truth.
meant, or
No.
no? Okay.
No.
Maybe not.
Chocolate on people. Here, look, I got chocolate. We got cake.
Make sure Mikey gets a piece.
Mikey who?
One of our.
Did I just introduce them? All right, well, they can come get it after the show. You got to wait. I got promos and plates. Wow, I got to bring out, you know what? I've never eaten before on TV.
Yeah. Okay.
That was Giant Eagle's finest. I said to the lady, I need a happy birthday Guns. She goes, excuse me? I said, G-U-N-S. Oh, she goes, Guns. I won't say her name. She did it great.
She did.
I go, can we have turquoise? She goes, I don't have anything but red or yellow. So we coordinated with Guns. He got a red hat on for Christmas. Thanks for letting me chew the cake. It's delicious. Chocolate chip cookie cakes. All right, thanks, Nick. Let me move some of this around. Oh, man, I got to take another bite. All right, where are we at here? All right, let me line this up for our man, Mike. We'll see how he does.
Oh, that's Corey on the camera.
Oh, I thought Mike was in here. Corey's back from OU.
Yeah. Ohio player.
He's from Ohio. He said he's learning a ton up there. Contrary to Smoking Jim at Cal U. He goes to school. And he likes it. Olive Oil's Pizzeria, Hillcrest Shopping Center, sponsors our show with an XL pepperoni pizza, 6-cut hoagie. Check them out, 412-831-1900. Frank Venero's the owner. Give him a call. All right, here we go with a little promo. Always be smiling. The B stands for the smiling young man, Bennett. Died at 16 and a half. He was a handicapped young man, had 2 kidney transplants. His dad, Dean, gave him his last kidney transplant. And his mother and father started Always Be Smiling. Check them out on Facebook. They're a 501c3. You can donate money. Please like their page like the rest of my 400-some friends. All right, next up, another 501c3. Let's see, Corey's on fire. Look at the close-up on there. Bethel Park Historical Society's Arts and History Center. Thank you for letting me do that. Had a little Jimmy in my teeth. Not Frazier, but a little, you know, Jimmy's. 2600 South Park Road, 1905 Schoolhouse. They're a non-profit, 501c3. You can donate money. They do events. They just had a Christmas party. Listen to this. 300 people were there. Check them out. Reginald's Coffee, best coffee in the area. They beat Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and whatever coffee you drink, even your homemade stuff. They'll beat it. Check them out. And I just saw that Matt and Julie had a baby son. So I don't know the baby's name, but congratulations to Matt and Julie who own Reginald's Coffee. I'm trying to keep this short, Jim Ellenbogen. Next up, Corey. We end each show with Stay Joey Strong. 8-year-old Joey Fabus died of a dreaded brain cancer, DIPG, at 8 years old again, and it's been 8 years since he's died. So donate your money. Their biggest event is the 5K 1 Mile Superheroes Walk and Run every September. All right, we're doing a special promotion. Jessica Lee, the jazz singer, and Al Levine, the talking machine, do shows called By Request. We have over 40 of them. We're asking you to donate blankets, sweaters, Steeler gear, anything that seniors that don't have any family. This is for them. We're going to give it to local nursing homes like Smoking Jim.
Are you donating your jacket or
We'll
vest?
take it right in the can.
Put it right in the can. You won't do it. You won't do it. No way.
I'll bet you $5 he doesn't do it. All of you. I'll bet all of you. I'll
Mike,
take those odds.
Mike, should he do it? Yeah.
Guess what? Give me the $5. He lost already. I want to thank my friend from the Pittsburgh Press and Post-Gazette, Ruth Scruggs, brought some things in and donated to our donation. So please, 24 hours a day, it's open at the police station. They'll see who comes in. Your stuff is safe here. And don't take anything back out. Just put it in. Because Smoking Jim was looking in there. Unbelievable. Thank you very much. This is for a good cause. Not Smoking Jim's cause. Thank you, folks. And if you didn't know, Smoking Jim is my Ed McMahon. He calls me Johnny Carson. And if he's not the best Ed McMahon, I'm not Johnny Carson. All right, check out the Bethel Park Community Foundation. I'm a trustee on the board. We just did our holiday show at the community center. I posted up pictures there. Dave Cable filmed the whole event. I got to hand out cookies to everybody, and they only let me eat 2. So, I was a little bit limited, but I did my best, and we had a packed house. There had to be over 300 people in there, and it was just great band, great singing group, and great bell ringers. Smoking Jim doesn't even know what a bell ringer is. But the Community Foundation does a lot of great things. It's called the Don Streeter Concerts. They do them all summer. He was a great man in the Bethel Park, and he donated money to do that. And the Bethel Park Community Foundation appreciates all the donations in the money box. We set a new record collecting money. Thanks to all of you there, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right, my time's running out. I want you for BPTV. You can be like Corey, who came back on his Christmas break. You can be like Johnny Mariano, who brought his son Michael in. And you can be Johnny Mariano's brother-in-law,
Michael
Rode. Yeah, as a volunteer. And no, that's where my cousins lived, Sherapins. They lived in Penn Hills, and they hated Smoking Jim.
Oh, wow.
And then we got Nick VIP Callis.
Yay.
Last but not least.
Don't forget Marco. Marco's in the control room, too.
Nobody told me.
Yeah, he's running graphics tonight.
Why doesn't somebody give me updates? Whose show is this? Marco's here. Marco's my friend on Facebook, one of my newest friends. Well, along with his dad, too. All right, we got a great foundation here with at the Bethel Park Historical Society. Go Wreaths Across America. Jim Jenkins, Lisa Jenkins, they helped get over 5. All the wreaths came in today on trucks. They had a police escort, came up Bethel Church Road, and they held up traffic. And they delivered all the wreaths on the 17th. They're going to be putting wreaths on over 500 graves. So check it out. It only costs $15 for a wreath to honor our veterans. And that's all I got for you. Next up, we got we got What's on Your Mind? Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
You ate the green.
you got to see Levine.
He ate the green. I want to check on that.
Woo!
I used to throw a high, hard fastball.
I tell you what, me and Mikey's the only one representing the Penguins tonight. My 10-1-1 Penguins in the last 12 games. Nice big hand for my Pens.
You missed a couple. 12-1-1.
It's a 12-1-1. I missed a couple.
They won last night. Malkin had the winning goal.
Now he's the second all-time leader
2-1.
in winning goals for the Penguins in their history.
What'd you hear?
Something like that. Hey, I gotta hear this. I'm gonna say it again. I'm very proud of my Pittsburgh Steelers.
I got to disclaim that. He said he's a scout. I question the veracity of all his following statements. I stand by
And the
it.
reason I say that, my man, the VIP of BPTV, Nick, is because they don't quit. This team never quit. They could have easily gave up. Now, if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would sit down Kenny Pickett for the rest of the year for 2 reasons. One, I'm a Mason Rudolph fan.
He was inactive again.
And the second reason, he won't be inactive this week. And the second reason is, if Kenny Pickett is your franchise quarterback in your future, then you have to protect his noggin. Because 2 concussions already, the next concussion, if he has another concussion this season, it could possibly shorten his career or end his career. So if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would sit down Kenny Pickett for the rest of the year, and you heard it here from Dr. J.
But hold on. No, I'd be all right with that take, but you've already said that, so you said that a couple weeks ago.
What?
And I remember because I was kind of on board with it. Start Mason Rudolph. That's nothing new.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's two reasons.
Hold it. Hold it. Check the tapes. Check those tapes.
Because he had 2 concussions. One more concussion, his career may be over. You can't take so many.
It's
I'm
great.
Dr. J.
Aikman had about a dozen.
He faked it, man. he got sacked 11 times his rookie year from the Philadelphia Eagles and Reggie White, and most of the time he went down in the fetal position.
That was 11 of the
5
concussions.
yards away from me when he went down.
Remember what I told you after my disclaimer? Question everything. Thank you, Smoking Jim. You were very entertaining.
Thank you, sir.
All right. We got to say hi to some of the people watching. All right. Chief McElroy's watching.
That's my man.
Jim Ellenbogen's watching. Let me think. 2 other. Well, Amy says, hello, guys. Get well soon, Chip. Thanks for your prayers. Bill Means, thank you for watching, buddy. Appreciate you.
Chief ain't picking in, is he?
What's that?
Chief ain't on the picket line, is he?
He retired.
Oh, he retired.
Chief said, happy birthday, Guns. Ralph Williams is watching.
That's my man.
Ralph said, hello, guys. Tim Davis said, hi, guys. So we can carry on. Jim Guns Ellenbogen, what's on your mind?
Well, Steelers are on my mind. So as
Okay.
the hat says, let's get the nice out of the way first.
Go ahead.
I think Najee is on the right track.
He's
running
looked better.
well. He's running straight ahead.
By the way, he's healthy.
And that's all I got nice to say about the Steelers.
Jeez.
So let's get to it. Naughty. All right. Number 1, $108 million doesn't get you what it used to.
The most expensive defense.
Disgraceful. The defensive line, they belong on a milk carton.
Oh.
Never saw them. The
He said that
linebackers,
before. He's good.
the linebackers fell into a black hole because I didn't see them the whole game. It's when your defensive backs are making all the tackles, there's something wrong. That defense is just been playing horrendous. And here's what's interesting. When they were playing really well, everybody said that the defense had improved. However, that's when T.J. Watt
Was healthy.
was healthy. Notice how he's hurt now, his knee, his ribs, his chest. And because that one link in the chain broke, the entire defense has fallen apart. That's how much of an influence.
Great analogy.
If Coach had any sense,
He don't.
which I don't think he does, you should sit TJ the rest of the year. There's nothing to gain here except a better draft choice, and let that man heal. He's playing because he's all heart, and he's not playing well, and you're going to get him hurt for good. Like
Guns, I got to interrupt you. Smoking Jim, a lot of guys got hurt in football, and he started calling certain players brittle brothers. Are the Watts brittle brothers?
Well, there are a lot of media people think they are because he's reaching the age
Just had a
now.
check, yeah, in his 30s.
This is where his brother JJ started falling apart. We don't know that.
And he's
but-
still playing, JJ.
Right, but the money invested in him, I think it would be smart to just let him sit. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
What else is naughty?
The offensive line.
Whoa. My pet peeve.
Trubisky had a chance to reinvent himself. But if you remember what I've been saying, soon he moved the ball so well down the field. The offensive line played better during the pass because he stayed in the pocket and gave them an opportunity to set up.
Yeah.
Then if he needed to get out, he got out. That's where Kenny messed up. You're playing the best run defense in the league, and when he ran, they took him out and they blasted the whole offensive line.
Yeah.
But when Trubisky got in the red zone, the red zone curse. First time he threw it into 3 guys.
That ain't bad.
But here's the thing, and you hear me always talk about coaching.
Yes.
After the first one, Tomlinson grabbed him by the lapels and said, "Okay, you threw the first one. Be smart. There's points here." He does it 2 more times.
Yeah.
And they were. Who throws in the middle of 3-4 guys like that?
And just
3 times.
we talked, Just think of one time less that he threw an interception, they score a touchdown. We're all talking about how great the Steelers are and they're going to the playoffs.
I think you
And
said
you're right,
that.
Ella, being the talk machine. If we'd have had Mason Rudolph all season, we'd be going to the Super Bowl.
Smoking Jim, I disagree with you 100%.
To the Super Bowl.
One final point that I have. They proved that Harbaugh is a much better coach than Tomlin ever will be.
Oh, that hurts.
I got to agree. I don't like Harbaugh.
Hey, he had the second and third string quarterbacks ready to play. Where we got second stringers that come in that practice all week long that don't know what day it is. Everybody in China, in Afghanistan, in Norway, everyone knew they weren't throwing the ball. They threw it 15 times the whole game. And what did they do? They ran him over like a bulldozer. That's all I got to say. Trade them all. Trade Tomlin. Tomlin's going to use Canada as his scapegoat. That's why he keeps him. So whenever it gets too hot for him, he's going to throw him to the wolves. And like James Bond, Tomlin will survive. And I'm sticking to my guns.
Thank you, Guns. A couple people, Chief said he's on the picket line, Smoking Jim. And that's not the one for the PG.
Oh, boy.
And Amy said, happy birthday, Guns. Tony from Chick-fil-A goes, R.I.P. Mike Leach. What a shock that was, 61 years old. Smoking Jim already had a quadruple bypass, so we know he's trying to be healthy as he eats everything on the table. Hello to Chip Hayner. Chip Hayner's watching us, so be on your best behavior. All right, let's go to Nick VIP Callis. What's on your mind?
Well, the Steelers lost another football game, and that's see. It's like I'm kind of frustrated in a way because I'm preparing myself to feel poorly and upset about the Steelers season, and then all of a sudden, what's so funny over there?
We're just laughing at what you're going to say.
Oh, good. Premature.
They read the script. See, we script every show, and they're looking at it.
I'll tell you later.
All right. Well, so I've mentally prepared myself for this team to be terrible, and then they go out and they run off a bunch of wins, and then it's like they have a winnable game against the Ravens, against quarterbacks that are along the string, no Lamar Jackson, not even Tyler Huntley after a while in that game, and they still manage to lose. And I'm just, I don't know how to feel. I want to be angry, but like they're playing higher than expected. It's just. I know that Al knows how to feel, but Guns took a lot of my what I was going to say as well, because
we'll try to add lib a little.
I excused Trubisky for the one, and then he just tries to he throws it's like the exact same play to Freiermuth. Like they knew it was coming, and then the third one he just heaves one into double triple coverage. So not great. So what I'm looking at here is the Steelers are bad at running the football. So they're trying to pass too much, and the Ravens were just like, well, they don't trust their running game enough right now. We're stopping them on the one side of the field, so they're going to try to throw it down the middle, and that's where they guessed, and that's
Is that on open door Moore side? The open door Moore side?
I think it is. No, but that's the biggest
Just
problem
had
here.
to say that.
And that's why I'm sitting more.
Because it's open.
I'm getting on the train with let's draft linemen, because the Ravens knew. They figured, okay, there's this one side of the line that's weak, and we know that. We can get pressure here, so we're going to force them to pass. But then you try to pass it to the same guy twice, and Freiermuth on the first two interceptions, and the Ravens read it well. So, the first one was spectacular, but the second one was predictable, and that's why that happened, and that's what I assessed from that. So they're just they're making me feel weird, because I was prepared for the failure, and for some reason there was a glimmer of hope that they maybe could have made the playoffs, not win a Super Bowl, but they could have made the playoffs. But now, they might not, but their games, they could have won some games. But I am going to talk about, in my segment, I appreciate you raising your hand, by the way, instead of just going at it. But real quick, one more thing, and then we can discuss.
You could say a couple more. I'm going to be your psychologist right after you're done.
All right, cool.
I'll hold my hand up. I'm good.
But
This face I was born with. I look intense. I'm actually relaxed.
But you look good, though.
Thank you, Guns.
But I am going to talk about in my
Want another
segment.
piece?
I'm going to talk about in my segment because somebody talked about them being able to win the Super Bowl if they make the playoffs, and I'm not on board with that. It wasn't Smoking Jim. It was another man named Jim that I work with sometimes at the Fan. So we'll talk about some stuff. What?
Colony?
No. He retired.
I see you heard him on air
Yeah, last week.
Sunday.
I did. I heard
All right,
him,
that's a
too.
fair point. He does come in
I did
every
hear him.
once in a while. All right, but no, he doesn't work there anymore. But it wasn't him. Somebody else. And that's what's on my mind. Go ahead, psychologist.
I'm going to give him a little counseling. I was born in 1956.
It was on a Wednesday.
It was Saturday night. My dad had to work. And I grew up with the Steelers being the same old Steelers, losing my whole childhood. So my favorite team, I wouldn't wear Steeler gear. I was a newspaper boy at 11. I got gloves. I ripped off the logos. My mother goes, Alan, you're ruining good gloves. I go, the Steelers aren't good, but these gloves are. And imagine the perspective that I have on the Steelers until they drafted Joe Green. Then I became a fan because anybody that kicks the other lineman in the you-know-what and throws helmets and you know what he hits them with, that's my guy.
Boy.
So imagine this young man who'll be 24 on the 29th. He grew up with the media brainwashing. Mike Tomlin's been here for 15 years and has never had a losing season. Like me and you as fans might consider 8-8 like a losing season. Smoking Jim said they just want to be 8-8. They don't want to be great. He brainwashed me for 2 years. So now Nick comes in, and here's where I'm counseling him. The Pirates, I saw the last championship in 79, saw 2 champion teams in 71 and 79. I was 4 years old, just got out of my diaper, and guess what? I was just growing up in Greentree after moving from Oakland, so I wasn't there when they won in 1960. So I have all those memories from family and friends. What's he have about the Steelers almost his whole life?
Win.
All they do is win, whether they're 8-8 and not being great. And Tomlin was a good coach, which is now documented with Cowher's players. And he had Cowher's quarterback, because Cowher wasn't great until Ben came there, because Smoking Jim said, when you have a good quarterback, then you can win a Super Bowl. So what did he do? He won 1 Super Bowl. He's in the Hall of Fame because of Big Ben. That's my opinion. Go ahead.
Since you brought up the old days, the way that we grew up,
Yeah.
this is what it was like. Typical kickoff to the Steelers when we were kids. Dick Hoke, the short man. Bobby Campbell, the All-American from Penn State, the deep man. The kick. Hoke's blocking. Campbell takes the ball on the 20, the 22, and Donnie goes on the 12. That's what it was like every game.
And I was a shy kid. I begged my dad to turn the radio off.
That's what it was like.
What's a radio?
For me to remember that.
Well, this is what we grew up with, and I just was trying to show for our younger fans that are out there, I feel your pain with the Pirates, and I feel your pain as I predicted a losing season for Coach Tomlin, who the standard is the standard, losing, and who the rubber meets the road, we don't have a road to ride on, and next man up, you had Mason Rudolph, who's been here for how many years, who could have stepped right in, right or wrong, with a bad offensive line, and he knows the plays.
Don't forget the component. That's his favorite
Well,
word.
then it's day to day. I heard him talk, it's day to day. Well, guess what? Components and day to day sound like they're in my phone, which works. Smoking Jim has an iPhone 13 and a Mac Pro he hasn't used yet. All right, that's what's on my mind. We're coming back with Fiction and Fact with Smoking Jim's Almanac in 10 seconds.
This is the second week in a row your microphone's not in the right place.
Put it up near your chin or hold it.
Right.
Put it up near your chin or talk into it.
All right.
Can you hear him?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. I tell you what, man.
Hold it. We can hear him. Can you hear him in there, Johnny? Just give us a yay or nay. We can hear you through the door. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Johnny. Hey, I want to give a
Yes, he said that.
special thank you to the Pittsburgh Steelers starting center, Mason Cole. He came out today to be the keynote speaker at our monthly luncheon.
Hold
for
it,
the
Smoking
Western
Jim.
Pennsylvania Hall of Fame.
I heard you handed a pen to him and he dropped it.
But I tell you what, he said some things to me when I talked to him that I'll share with you guys on another show. But I do have a bone to pick. Everybody knows I don't like Clareton or Aliquippa.
And they don't like you
Yeah, well, and
because they know you.
my thing is, Guns, is that
Whoa.
when I played football, I didn't shake hands. I mean, as a captain, you got to shake hands at the coin toss, but you don't have to shake hands after the coin toss. Win or lose, I didn't shake hands. I ran off the field, went to the locker room. But if you're going to accept a shake hand and a pat on the back after all your wins, Clareton won 5 state championships in a row, got patted on the back. They lose in the state championship game, then they want to fight everybody. So I disagree with that. We invited Aliquippa and Westinghouse to the luncheon today. Everybody showed up. Seneca Valley showed up. TJ showed up. Union showed up. All the WPIL champions showed up, except for Aliquippa, who's supposed to have been the greatest team this year since sliced bread, got their butt handed to them. Ain't nobody tell Bishop McDevitt they kicked their butt. Westinghouse had one of the greatest years of any city team in the history. They get beat this weekend, and now they don't want to show up after they gave their word that they was going to show up. Because listen, if you can accept the accolades, if you can accept all the TV shows and KDKA and everybody else, you can accept all the newspaper and magazine articles when you're winning. Be man enough to show up when you're losing. And that's the fiction and fact.
Hold on, I got a question.
We had 10 college recruiters there, including Dartmouth. They was ready to give scholarships. You had the number one.
Who's Dartmouth?
You had the number 1 scout for Pitt that was there today. Some of these guys could have made an impression and got a scholarship to one of these 10 schools. That's how Mike Tomlin got the job, because he impressed the Rooneys in the interview, supposedly. I think it was affirmative action that got him the job. But somebody could have got a scholarship on the spot today, and they didn't show up.
Oh, before you finish,
I'm mad about that.
I got a statement. People were having trouble with getting bus drivers. And the City League, they got to ride Port Authority to get from home to school. How the heck are they going to go to the Masonic Lounge out in, where is that, Perrysville?
How to pick them up?
You didn't even offer it. And
With which phone were they going to call you?
yeah, and then I'm just telling that these guys have good points, just like you invited.
Prime rib was good.
You
We
invited.
had no ham. We had prime rib.
You invite me and Nick when there's ham there, and then Bethel Park didn't show up because they had the flu before their game.
I got a bone to pick with them.
You did then, and you ate it. You ate that bone. But my point is, how do you get to Perrysville from Aliquippa without a ride?
Why are you
River.
giving your word that you would be there? You
They-
gotta be good. I bet you if they would have won, they'd have been
Well,
there.
you know how you buy
Just
all.
like McKeesport was there when they was
You-
winning.
you know how-
and they got their butt kicked by Aliquippa.
You know how you buy all your gear from neighborhoods in Rod
I
Rutherford
got an
out of their
inventory.
van.
My new shopping street is Major Harris Boulevard.
Okay.
They named the street after him, brother.
Well, what's he pull the
There's
clothes?
more crime on that street.
What's he pull the gear out of the back of a van? That's only one van. How could you put the whole team in one van? They didn't come because they had no rides, and you never called them back on telling them about 10 recruiters there. And if they did, they didn't want to hear about Pitt. they'd rather go out of town, just in case you didn't
We're
know.
Jackson State. They
Yeah.
ain't there no more.
Yeah, they could go there.
They're all in Colorado now.
All right, thank you, Smoking Jim. We're going to go to look at these guns. Guns. Great.
Am I ready?
You're good.
You're live.
Okay. Jim's smoking.
He is.
First thing, I understand why Jim is so proud of the Steelers.
Yeah.
Because as a pro scout, they need so many players. He's full-time forever.
I salute you, Naughty. Naughty called it.
As Jim mentioned about coming off the field in our day, not talking.
Yeah.
If you look at my Facebook, people always make jokes about me never smiling. It
Yeah.
started when I played ball. I never liked anybody. I never talked to anybody, and
sir.
I'd knock my own guys down if they come
sir.
my way. So I understand that.
He's the bulldog of the panel.
As far as Aliquippa goes, the former Aliquippa coach, Mike Zemanek, is my personal friend. He's a guy that has class,
Yeah.
a gentleman, led Aliquippa to many championships, and when he left, the class went with him. So I agree with you. And you know what? The great Aliquippa, they didn't know what hit him, because as great as they are, that team beat them like a redheaded stepchild.
Oh.
Yes,
You
sir.
know?
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Hey, no offense meant to redheaded stepchildren. Because in this era, we got to disclaim it. It's a disclaimer. I defended you right on it. No offense meant.
However, I would
He's
love
new to the show.
I'd love to give a shout out to Coach Green from Westinghouse, who, with class, brought them all the way to the state championships. But as great as they were, I just can't get over how good some of these teams are across the state, the way they just, manhandled them. But he deserves a lot of credit, more so for taking these kids and turning them into gentlemen and young men with class, and he deserves a lot of credit. If we had more coaches like that today, we'd have a lot more, great kids.
Great
'Cause
points.
He teaches them kids about life, and I have nothing but great respect for that coach. So, and that's all I got to
His
say.
teaching ain't done because they didn't show up today. So he got
They didn't
some
show
more
up
teaching
today, too?
and somebody need to teach him.
I told you they didn't have rides.
Well-
Look at how you can't show up. Come on. You tell them to meet you somewhere,
Well,
it's
not
sketchy
everybody-
as all get out.
Well, not everybody's like us. We go when we lose just to argue with them. Say, okay, now tell me I lost so we can fight.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right, thank you, Guns. Hey, Amy said, I like your hat, Guns. Tony from Chick-fil-A goes, Mike Tomlin is an average coach without coward players. He might ruin Pickett's career in a Steeler uniform. Smoking Jim could be right. 8-8 is the best they can do. We're at 17 games now, Tony. You slipped a little. It could be 8-9. And guess what? We don't know where they're at.
I'm getting jealous. Amy throwing me over for guns.
Do you
Yeah.
realize what we've got, what we went to? We went from Pickett to Pickens to pickoffs.
Oh. Ouchie.
Amy said she agrees with you, Smoking Jim. Then Chief said, Smoking is on fire. Amy co-signed that. Smoking Jim, you on fire. So we got everybody covered. Thanks, Amy and Chief, and all you watching. We're hoping we're entertaining you. Bill Means, I'm glad we're giving you a little distraction from issues you have in your family. Prayers to you and your family. And we're going to go to VIP time with Nick Callis in 10 seconds. Get it, Johnny and Mike. They're in the control room. What a team.
I got an opinion. Let's talk about it. So, I was doing a show, and I was producing at the Fan, and I got to be part of the show for an hour because one of the hosts was
What
running
day?
late. It was
What-
on a Wednesday. It was after Sportsline, actually, and the Steelers had beaten the Falcons. So this man who's they do a show every once in a while, but he was talking about with me how the Steelers would be best served if they were able to make the playoffs, because then they'd have a chance to win the Super Bowl. And this man said to me that they could win the Super Bowl. And I lost it because I was like,
Question: was he drinking?
No, he
I'll
was.
have what he's having.
So
That's why I brought it up, buddy.
and I mean, but he said it with sincerity, and it wasn't like one of those things where we planned it and he was, trying to rile people up. No, it was genuinely like, okay, this man walked into the building and gave this take on regional radio. Okay, so I was talking to him because I was his co-host / producer at the time, and I'm just like, man, listen to me right now. Okay, I don't care if they make the playoffs at this point because they're losing draft stock with every win. And this team's not going to the Super Bowl considering all of the AFC weapons that you have right now and the very strong NFC teams and the Eagles and the Vikings and to an extent the 49ers at this point, right? They're all doing well, so you'd have to get past the AFC juggernauts and then beat one of those teams in the Super Bowl for the Steelers to win the Super Bowl. It's a tall task. There's not a chance that it's happening. Let's stock up on draft picks and make the team better.
Hold it. Amy said Nick is on fire.
I'm on fire because this take made me upset. And then his response was, well, Tomlin's notoriously poor at drafting, so maybe it would just be better for them to just keep trying and doing well. And I'm like, okay, they could try. I don't think they're giving up. That's the extent I'll give Smoke and Jim credit for in terms of, well, they're not giving up. Maybe that's true. Maybe
Hold it. He's proud of the Steelers.
the fact that that's the best they're trying at, though, and that's the result they're coming up with. 14 points when they should have scored roughly 24 in that game. They had 10 points left on the field. I'll give them that generously compared to a Ravens team that was beaten down. You're not winning those games. So I'm not proud of them. But they're trying. Okay, I'll give you that, Smoking Jim. I believe that they all did their best. Wasn't the best, though. But anyway, back to the part about drafting. Think about
He's on fire.
Don't cool me off. I'm having a good time.
Go.
But here's my big thing.
I apologize.
I'm talking about Tomlin's drafting, okay? T.J. Watt was a first-round pick. Troy Polamalu was a first-round pick. I think, actually, hold on, let me not
That was
cite him.
Cowher.
Yeah, those were Cowher's guys. T.J. Watt, David DeCastro. I just looked at some of the first-round picks that they've had over the last 20 years. And when I said Polamalu, I was like, well, technically that was Cowher's guy. But still,
Not technically, actually.
No, it was.
Literally.
Literally was. Well, he played under Tomlin, that's why I say that, but he wasn't drafted by that regime. Anyway, you get my point. I misspoke. But there are a lot of picks in those first-round draft choices that have done the Steelers well. And I think the Terrell Edmonds and the Devin Bush picks, I think that they've hurt the Steelers' perception recently because those players they're not playing like first rounders, so maybe they should have been drafted a little bit down the line. But overall, I think they've been doing well, and I think that they've been developing talent well enough to put together a team that's capable of doing things like this year, the nonsense where they might end up 500 after a 3-7 start. They're good enough to be average at best, which isn't the standard if that's what you're going to say.
No. Here's what I have to say.
Okay.
You know math. With 17-game season, unless you get two ties or one tie.
So the split is here now. It's one or the other. There's no more 500. But I meant before, you know what I mean.
Well, I understood.
Well, they're headed.
But if they're listening for the first time, I just wanted to show that even though I went to KO, I know math.
Nice.
To all my KO fans.
Wow. But that's the thing.
You're good. Keep going.
I don't think the Tomlin regime has been that poor at drafting. So, why not give them a pick in the top 10? There's nothing wrong with that. The Steelers very well might have, with the way the Chase Claypool trade is
that looking great? I was for it.
They might have 3 picks in the top 40, top 50. That's good. We want that. And again, even if Tomlin was a bad drafter, which I don't think he is, but even if he was a bad drafter.
Doesn't Colbert draft the people in his team?
Even Tomlin's regime, which is now Omar Khan's, to be exact.
He doesn't know football.
You know what I mean.
You think Shaka Khan was drafting?
But even if they were bad, here's the bottom line with high draft choices. Okay, the sooner you draft, the bottom line is that they have that option to draft first. There are not players being taken beforehand. Okay, they have that option right away. That's in their control. When other teams pick first, that relinquishes much of the control that the Steelers have. That's pretty basic. So I'd rather them at least have the opportunity to draft first as opposed to other teams than not. So that's my opinion. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. Take and hold on to as much draft stock as possible, and these nonsense wins mixed with these winnable game losses are making me mad. And the fact that there are people out there who are like, the Steelers could win the Super Bowl. Have a little, what's the word I'm looking for?
Common sense.
That, and yeah, have a little
common sense.
Have a little less pride in yourselves and just take a little bit of be a little more humble. This season is not good. And winning is not going to help them for long-term success.
Okay. I don't want to be your counselor now. You were on fire. But I do have one question for you.
Okay.
We got 4 games left. In your honest opinion, how many are they going to sneak a win from out of 4 games?
Who they?
Smoking Jim's a gambler. And he said they're going to the Super Bowl when they put Rudolph in.
I can tell you one thing.
Go ahead.
They're playing Carolina next week. I grew up with the owner of the Carolina Panthers.
Peabody High School, Trevor.
No, even farther than that, I went to Sunnyside Morningside School with him too.
There you go.
I can tell you one thing.
He beat you.
He's sitting down there in Carolina
Licking his
saying,
chops.
if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to beat them on Sunday.
Hey, I tell you
But
what,
I think that the Panthers.
you know what Carolina's saying right now? After rushing for 200-something yards
Come
last
on.
week, they're saying, run, Herschel, run. Or whatever they're running
All
back
right.
is.
My question was to you, Nick. How many will they sneak a win out of?
I have to look early. So I got to play the Ravens one more time, which clearly they can't beat the Ravens on injury.
Well,
so I'm not betting on. I'm not betting on that one. I think the
Carolina?
The Panthers are a team that they could beat. It's like I see the Panthers like the Falcons. The Falcons are a little stronger, and they beat the Falcons. So I think that the Panthers are in a position where the Steelers could beat a team like that. I don't care how well they ran last week.
Do you guys know this? If the
No.
Carolina
No, you got to tell us.
If the Carolina Panthers, Nick, VIP or BPT,
I'm listening.
if they beat the Steelers, they're in first place in their division. If the Steelers
Great point.
If the Steelers beat them, the Steelers are in first place in their division because they beat every team. They would have beaten every team.
Yeah,
in
but
that
their record doesn't show
No,
it.
I'm just saying the Steelers beat every team in that division.
All right.
Okay, carry on. Gun's got something to say.
The way they're playing now, any team that has a running back with 2 legs can beat them.
And he emphasizes 2 legs.
I'll give you 2 wins to end the
Maybe
season.
even 1.
Seeing their schedule, I just looked it up. I'll give them 2 wins. I'll give them the Panthers and I'll give them the Browns. But the Raiders
Well, let me
and
give
the Ravens
the
a
final,
second time.
so they would be 7-10.
Yep.
You know what? Sorry, Steeler fans. First losing season for Mike Tomlin.
Yes, without Ben.
I don't know what that means.
I think
They promoted all the time. The standard is the standard.
I agree.
There is no standard.
I agree with Jim. That if they would have played Rudolph all year, I think the record would be different.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, they're sitting on the same table, eating the same cookie.
I don't think they should have put Pickett in when
No,
they did, but
because-
now they
because
committed to it now.
They have
So
the talent to move the ball down the field, as Trubisky showed it. But Trubisky, I don't know if it's immaturity. I don't know if they didn't coach him right. But as soon as they get in the red zone, everything falls apart on that team.
And who heaves a ball?
There
into
should be a
triple
freaking
coverage?
sign in
Trubisky.
how do you say it? Acrisure Stadium? Should be a giant skull and crossbones on the 35-yard line. Go, beware entering the red zone. As soon as they get in there.
Machine,
They need
Christmas Eve, don't you think they'll beat the Raiders for Franco Harris Day whenever he tires jersey?
That's my birthday.
Here's what they'll have to do.
That's when I remember.
They'll have to put Franco in.
Ouch! Wow.
And Najee's running good.
Well-
I just want to emphasize my
See-
point that Najee's healthy now, so anything can happen, but open the door more is not the solution, nor the other linemen, and I'm honest.
See, if you look at a broader situation, they're saying that here, but across the country, the people out west are saying, let's win this one for the late John Madden.
Yeah.
In his memory.
Great
so
point.
You got that going on
Has it been a
emotionally.
year already since he passed?
Yeah, but
That's wild.
you know, you
Jack
weren't
Taylor.
born,
Where
but
do you get to be?
I know, John.
Jack Taylor.
John Madden is in a video game or sponsored
he
a
was
video
a different
game, so-
guy when he was in his 30s. Trust
Yes,
me.
he was.
Yeah,
You know,
tough guy.
You know, I was a teenager during that game. It was on my birthday too, so I could still see him. God rest him.
I was at
blasting
the
off.
game.
We have no witnesses. I want to talk to your daddy and your uncle.
Franco, run!
There ain't no way you didn't see it. Joe Board.
actually-
Joe Board is watching. Thanks, Joe.
The story.
Chief said, just to interrupt you, there are at least 3 stud defensive and offensive linemen in the first 15 picks of 2023.
Wow.
Chief watches this stuff. He knows stats and people. He's like a mini scout, Smoking
You
Jim.
know, the rumor is the ball didn't hit Frenchie; it hit Jim.
Well, everybody knows he looked like Urkel back then. He had to be standing on the sideline. His dad couldn't control him. Look how he is
Hey,
now.
all I can tell you is when he played ball in high school, they used to say he hit harder than a southbound freight train.
Whoa! All right, we got to go to
You?
On location.
Look how good he looks.
Look at that. Thank you, Guns. On location, we got a couple shows coming up in April. We got hired to do the Donnybrook fights are coming back. Pittsburgh against Ireland
Yes.
at the Priory Hotel, March 10th. So check it out.
Nice.
Thanks to Rich Donnelly for doing that. We appreciate him. And that's all I got on location. I wanted to at least bring up about the Penguins because Smoking Jim's not a hockey player. He only likes Ovi because he goes with front runners when they're alive and well and trying to score 800 goals. And they're one-trick ponies.
You know what? Have you ever skated before? I'm just curious.
Roller skate.
Yeah?
Roller
Not
skate.
ice skating?
No, roller
Just
skate.
curious. Okay.
But not
I'm a black
lately.
man.
Not
I'm a
lately.
black man.
So you don't. Never mind.
Ask him if he ever swam.
I was actually just about to, and I wasn't going to
Okay. Well, we wanted to talk a little Penguin talk.
Urban kids, you know.
Penguins are doing great. They talked about them being too old and too slow. How do you win 6 games in the NHL being too old and too slow? And Malkin looks like he's on a mission. He came back in great shape, healed up after surgery, and he got another winning goal. Smoking Jim knows stats. Look what he did. Michael, if you're adjusting that camera, just give me some headroom. Give me some headroom. All right, he gave me the thumbs up. Johnny, you got him well trained. Marco, thanks for guiding those guys. Appreciate it. Looks good on there. We're good. But yeah, I just wanted to bring up that people gave up on the Penguins because they've seen the Pirates. They saw the Steelers. People not drinking the Steeler Kool-Aid that's black and gold. You can't buy it anywhere, but we're not drinking it. The media,
I'm proud of them.
the media has been promoting them all day long with how they could be a playoff team. Now they're starting to turn on the Steelers because they figured, like Nick, if they go 2-2, they lose. So that's enough on the Steelers. I said before the season it looked like the first losing season because I didn't want them to draft Pickett because it took him 6 years to become a great quarterback. Couldn't pick up Marino's shoes, as I keep saying. Marino is one of the greatest, and he never won a Super Bowl. Had a great coach, and look, they didn't have a defense to protect Marino. So that's history, yet he's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Pickett will not be one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. I like him. I wish him well, but I don't see that, especially they're not coaching him up. He still can't see the whole field. And he runs out of that pocket before he should, because guess what? He sees other teams' linemen on him within 3-4 yards of him stepping back. Imagine what you would do with the ball. Smoking Jim, you'd run You were fast, so you would have run like Urkel down the street. You know, you would have been gone. But I mean, that's what we're dealing with. And I go by the simple eye test. If it doesn't look right to us, and we don't know anything about the billion-dollar company, what are they doing and looking at? Maybe Canada knows he doesn't have an offensive line. Maybe he knew that the steel foot and boot that Najee was wearing limited his running. But what did Najee want to do? He wanted to play because that's how he is. Everybody gave up on Najee, and I said, what are you even talking about? There's no offensive line, and he was hurt and didn't play in the preseason.
There's Frank.
Yeah, well, you know that because you're like a doctor. But those are some of the things. Go ahead, Guns.
No, I just wanted to say that
No, go ahead.
one thing about hockey, the rumor in the street is they threatened to send Malcolm back to Russia if he didn't start playing better.
Well, you know why they did that? Putin started drafting Russians, and 1 million people left.
Right.
Malkin said, I'm in Florida with my wife and kid. I ain't going back.
No, actually, I just wanted to say, I understand. Nick, if you're watching, or Chip, if you're watching, I'm glad to hear you're feeling better. I know what that kind of injury does emotionally. It's tough. And Al, I want to thank everybody and thank the people that are watching and listening for giving me the opportunity to share some time with you and for listening. And I appreciated, having the time on here. And God bless you all and have a great holiday season. Thank you.
I've never done this before.
You're welcome,
but I'm
Guns.
going to make you an honorary Gateway Gator.
How about that?
First time ever on Pittsburgh
Yes.
Sportsline.
I always wanted to play in the WPIL.
You were stuck in that city.
I know, because they had all the pretty girls at Gateway.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, sir.
I'm glad we clarified that up.
City Beauty.
Oh, and
Any other point?
a shout out to one of my correspondents, Sherry, that I know is watching. She's a great influence with some of her research for me, and like she taught me, it's all about presentation.
Well, Sherry, thanks for trying to teach him some presentation. He looks good with the naughty and nice hat, and you notice he stayed naughty after he turned to nice.
Well, she wasn't here to ground me, so.
Okay, well, we understand.
Jim likes me like this, so.
Hey, Chief said thanks, Guns. Amy said thanks, Guns. John Ross is watching, a friend of mine on Facebook. Sherry Taylor French said, nice hat, Mr. Guns. So it's a mutual admiration society. We'll let him break some of our rules and talk to his personal friends. So we appreciate all of you watching. Hopefully we entertained you a little bit. We had a full house here. I got more cookies. Corey, here's what you guys can have. Look, I got 4 more pieces for Michael, Corey, Marco, Michael, Johnny. We may have to cut 1 in half to get 5 out here. But we're about done with the show. We appreciate you every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock to 8. Facebook Live on Pittsburgh Sportsline. Subscribe to my Pittsburgh Sportsline channel on YouTube.
We're live every week there.
Smoking Jim did it. We need more subscribers. Get that Mac Pro going for Christmas, Smoking Jim. When you have the FAMU over, have someone help you. They're smarter than you. Stay Joey strong. How'd I hit it?
Nailed it.
Thanks.